Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining tonight. Please let me know if you can hear me. I've got a problem with my camera, so that's not working today. Once the camera comes on, you cannot hear the sound, which is crazy. But can you hear me? We could do this with the sound. I've got lovely slides for you. If you can hear me clearly, please type in yes in the comments below. Please type in yes if you can hear me clearly, so that we can kick this off, because I've got some great content for you to help you to make sure that you're prepared for this exam the next time around. So can you hear me? If you can hear me, please type in a yes before I move on. Okay, thanks for typing in yes. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeshalini, typing great stuff so you guys can hear me. Great. Chiomade, great to have you on. Great to have you. We're going to have an amazing session today. So I'm just going to go through exactly what we're going to cover so that you know what we're going to do. It's going to be a short session, but it's going to be very interactive. And here's what we're going to go through. So we're going to go through understanding your situation. And if you failed the exam, please don't lose hope. Okay, so we're going to go through understanding your situation. We're going to reflect on your journey, look at those reasons why you failed, which is the first step that you want to take. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some strategies that will definitely help you succeed. And that's including a change in your mindset, right? And also redesigning that study plan. Because here's the thing, you have what you need to succeed. It's all about just looking at the way you're studying. And if we change a few things, and you're going to see, I've been doing this for so many years with so many trainees, we will get you to pass just by doing a few tweaks on your study plan, the way you're revising at the moment, how you're revising, what you're using, and how consistently you're working, and we could get you a very, very positive result. Next thing is looking at the resources and tools to support your preparation, make your life easy, help you pass the exam next time. And then motivation, how to keep you motivated, keep you staying focused, encouraging you so that you can achieve your dream. And then finally, Q&A session. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy. I'll be so delighted to answer any questions for any of you have. Any questions you have, please ask me and I'm going to answer them for you. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this because most of the time when we get results, many people post on social media, here are my results, way fantastic, and everyone's like, well done, congratulations. But what about those that did not pass? What about those that are going through such a challenging time, such heartbreak, such pain? What happens for them? Here's the reason why I'm doing this. So this is really dedicated to you if you didn't pass the exam. This is going to help you. We're going to go through steps to help you so I can instill that confidence back into you, and we can make sure that your next attempt will be a success. And if that was, say, if this was your final attempt, I will do a session on alternative careers, other steps that could really help you. But the bottom line is, please don't lose any hope. Please don't give up, because there's many opportunities. There's loads there up for you to help you succeed. And many trainees that are pharmacists today, or many pharmacists, went through a lot of setbacks. They went through a lot of setbacks. Many of them have failed the exams a few times, but they made it at the end. Okay, so we're going to go through a few things with a few exercises as well to help you to make sure that you totally pass this exam and that you do very well. Right, so the first thing I want to go through is really understanding your situation. And I want you to remember this. Failure is not the opposite of success. Please don't think I failed, that means I haven't succeeded. It's just part of the journey. And over the 10 years I've been doing this, I cannot tell you the number of trainees that have failed the exam the first time and they've passed the second time, or they failed the second time and passed the third time, or the fourth time. It is just part of the journey, right? So failure is part of that journey. And we're going to work on this with you so that you realize that this is your journey. but this is your journey to greatness. I did this video a few years ago with the girl Payal, and you have that on YouTube. It is the most inspirational to date. It's the most inspirational video that I've had from a newly qualified pharmacist. I cannot tell the number of trainees that have been inspired by Payal's video. And the reason why everyone is inspired is because Payal failed this exam 3 times and she passed on her 4th attempt. But this is what's so inspiring. At the time when she was filling the exam, she probably felt, why is this happening to me? Why is it just me? Everyone else is passing. I'm not good enough. What is going on? Is it a curse? Is God doing something against me? Is it a punishment? But what she didn't realize, that this was her greatest blessing. Because what happened is, because she's gone through this challenge, now she is so outstanding, the most inspiring person, but she's the most inspiring person because of her journey. So sometimes we don't see the reason why things are happening, but I promise you, when you get out of this, which you will, on the other side, you will have such an inspiring story to take with you. So the first thing I want you to know, let's understand your situation, and let's remember that you need to acknowledge this setback. It has happened, acknowledge it. And that's perfectly normal. Let's see what's up for writing. Riyadh says 11 marks off the clinical in June, 15 of November. How do I fill the gap? And that's what we're going to go through. We're going to do this for you today, Riyadh. Don't worry. Be positive, and I'll show you stories of people that have been worse, but they've done well. First thing I want you to know is your mindset. And the first thing I want you to know is that failure is definitely not the opposite of success. We've got Sukjev in the house that says, hey, what's the hardest part of the assessment? All depends on the students. Some of them find calculations hardest, others find clinical. So it all depends on that specific training. Our 6 marks from passing 2nd attempt. Very disappointed to hear that, but you will pass the next time. Failed by 2 marks in clinical and 1 in COGS. Absolutely gutted. I know how gutted you must be. I know how gutted you must be. But rather than thinking you failed, look at how close you were to passing. You're very, very close to passing. I was 2 marks off the clinical on my 3rd go, not sure what else to do now. So we're going to look at other alternatives. There are so many other options. Remember, you have an MPharm in pharmacy, and there are so many, and I know so many. I've got colleagues that were pharmacists that failed the exam 3 times, and then they were disappointed. They went on to the pharmaceutical industry, and we call each other from time to time, and I kid you not, every time they talk about their jobs, I am totally jealous. I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys are living the dream. Like the dream job with the pharmaceutical industries, good conditions, great pay, fantastic bonuses. And so the biggest pain for them has ended up being the biggest blessing. So I want to reflect on 4 exercises to help us with the mindset. I'll give you 4 things that you want to do. Let's go through these exercises. And I just want you to type in the chat, or I just type in the comment the answers to these 4 questions. So let's reflect on this. Take a moment to just reflect on your preparation for the last exam. We need to know what happened. So you need to reflect on what didn't go well in the previous exam, but also look at your strengths. What went well? What did you do well? I've got trainees that say to me, hey, listen, Marvin, I failed the exam by 1 mark. What went well is you got quite a number of questions correct still, okay? There were things that you got right. Some of you go like, oh, Marvin, I failed COGS, but I passed clinical. What went well? You passed clinical. So let's look at things the way they are, not worse than they are. So all I want you guys to do now in terms of your mindset is I want you to just reflect on what actually went well for you. And just type in the comments what went well. Might have some of you that perhaps this is your 2nd attempt. You failed the first one, you failed the second, but when you look at your results, you actually did better the second time than the first time. So even though it looks like a failure, it is still progress compared to what happened the first time around. I was 1 mark off. Aisha says 1 mark off passing of COGS and passed clinical. Great, you passed clinical. Well done, fantastic, Aisha. Just 1 mark off COGS. Now, here's the good news for you, Aisha. If someone was to give you that paper again, I promise you to look at the paper, you will see that there are some questions that you got wrong in COGS, that you actually knew. But the reason why you got them wrong was either you missed the decimal place, or you were anxious, or I don't know, perhaps you didn't finish all the questions. But I want you to just write down, why do you think you failed CARCs? What was it? Did you just, were you panicking? Was it just so difficult it was impossible for you? Were you nervous? So just write down some of these things. First thing we do is we change our mindset, guys. Whatever has happened, the past has happened. There's nothing we can do about it now. The only thing you have control of is the future, the present and the future. The only way you're going to change tomorrow is by what you're doing now, the decisions you're making right now. So let's see. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. I've got Aisha that says, Aisha says, I did much better in calculation this time. Well done. Great. Great. What tends to happen to most of us is when we fail the exam, we think it's the end, and we just only look at negative things. But you also have to look at the positive, get the feedback. Let's reflect on exactly what happened. What were your strengths? Marvin, be honest. Don't you think the 28 pass rate for CARCs was too high? I got 21 in June and 25 in November, which would have been good enough, I think, to pass in the last 3 to 4 years. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. It was a high pass rate, a pass mark. It was a high pass mark. 28 is quite high compared to the other ones I've seen. But here's the thing. I keep saying this. Although I could talk to you about how unfair this is, I'm really empathize with you. I know that this is not going to help you. The only thing that's going to help you right now is what you decide to do now and in the future. And even though I'm like so mad at GPhC and I could send a million messages to GPhC, I want to help you. And if I spend time with you talking about how this is unfair and this is terrible, which it is unfair, especially seeing what you've been through, and I really empathize, but it's because I truly want to help you. That's why I want to focus on what you have control of. And the only thing you have control now is now and tomorrow. It is not over yet. As long as you have another attempt, there is hope. Again, I'll show you guys examples of trainees that were in your situation and they made it, and you can make it too. So Aisha missed some questions in CARCs. So Aisha, very good example. You missed some questions in CARCs. Now, here's the thing. Please do not say to yourself you're not good enough, because you failed the exam by what? By 1 mark, did you say? Was it 1 mark, Aisha? Was it 1 mark? Did you fail the exam by 1 mark? Just type in the chat. Let me see. Was it you that failed the exam just by 1 mark? Or Aisha Shai could put down how many marks? What was your score? Yes. Okay. Yes. So you failed it by 1 mark. So we've got to be realistic, right? So, but you missed some questions. Right? It doesn't. So imagine you actually did those questions, you would have passed. So your problem or your challenge may not be your knowledge. It could just be your speed. It may just be more practice. What I'm trying to say to most of you is that you're not far from passing. Right? Don't look at it like worse than it is. Be realistic. I have trainees that come to me, they failed twice, and I get them to pass the 3rd time. And when I get them to pass the 3rd time, it has nothing to do with, oh, you have to learn so much. You failed. You don't know stuff. You're not good enough. No, it was just simply, we just had to practice more questions under time conditions. So the questions were doable. I had other trainees that ran out of time. But if they had the time, they would have got this right. So that's why I mean by reflect and look at your situation and see things the way they are, not worse than they are. Don't make it worse for yourself. I honestly feel defeated. First attempt, I passed clinical and 2 marks of calculations. Second attempt, 30 out of 40 in calculations. Wow, impressive. And just 1 mark of clinical. Right. So S, I don't know what your full name is. I've dealt with 3 trainees in the last 10 years that had the same thing. And the one that I did was recently, this was last year. This trainee had failed clinical but passed calculations. So what she decided to do was just revised clinical. And she thought, I'm good at calculations. And she just focused on clinical, did so much clinical. Went into the exam the second time. Guess what happens? She actually passed the clinical, but this time she failed calculations by 1 mark. So it was like sort of the opposite of what happened to you. So we just have to make sure, number one, you have to give yourself the credit that you did so well in calculations, despite the fact that so many people struggle with the calculations. 5 out of 40 is very impressive. And failing clinical just by 1 mark. So you tell me the reason. Why do you think you failed? Did you run out of time? Were you nervous? Do you actually believe deep down that if you looked at that paper again, there will probably be one question that you probably get that you got wrong simply because you misread the question? Do you believe that? Just be honest. Just be honest. Don't feel defeated, but I just want you to tell me honestly, since you failed just by 1 mark, do you think, be honest with yourself, if someone was to tell you, sit down, and they brought that paper back to you, and you were going through the paper, do you think that there's a chance, a very, very high chance, that there will be one question in that clinical that you're going to look and go, oh, of course, I can't believe I put this down because I know the answer, Marvin, I know the answer. It's this, and you're going to change it, yes or no? So everyone is in a different situation, and so you have to look at things, and that's why I say go analyze yourself. That's why we're looking at your situation. And when I do a lot of sessions with trainees, so many sessions, and I treat everyone differently because all of you are different and everyone's situation is different. What you need to pass the exam next time will be different from the next person. Some of you may just need to do more work. Others may just need to do more questions. Others may just need to do the same questions, but just time themselves this time. So there are many different things we can do. Okay, so we've got, so you guys have written down your strengths, what didn't go as planned, and where do you need to improve? So what areas do you think you need to improve? There's definitely a chance I misread. Thank you very much. Now, SS, I'm going to tell you the reason why this is so powerful, because majority of students that fail the exam, and I can show you the statistics, majority of students that fail the exam, number one, they fail the exam with just a few marks. And number two, the most reason why students fail is not because they don't really know the stuff, is because number one, they misread questions. Things that they actually know, but you just misread the questions, probably due to anxiety on the day, or maybe many different distractions in the day. So misreading the question is one of the key reasons why trainees fail. Not because it was too difficult. Number two, they ran out of time. Number three, you had things that happened in their personal lives, had nothing to do with the exam itself as such, but just going through a tough time, a tough placement, not enough support with your tutor, just going through a hard time. Sometimes in the family bereavements, there were other things outside that make students fail because that stops you from focusing. I know 100% I can get you to focus. SS 120%. I know I can get you to pass the next exam. Simply because you've already passed half of it and you're that close. So you know the stuff. You're good. You're really good. But you need to build your confidence again. Riyadh, I like what you said. I take positive in the fact that I've never failed CARCs in 6 years of uni and pre-reg. Well done. Great. So let's start by looking at things as they are. This is what's going to help you. Many people, you think, I've failed and that's it. Oh, I've got no hope. No, but you haven't failed the whole exam. You're still passing things, right? So it's not as bad as you think. We can work on the other areas and we can get you to pass. But you have to be honest with yourself and be realistic with yourself. SBC are killers. Yes, so practicing more SBC could be the thing. Again, I had 3 trainees last year. That's all I did with them. They failed the exam twice. One I failed once, the other one I failed twice, and the other one was twice as well, I think. There's 3 of them. And all we did was SBCs, and they all passed. That's because you analyze where you are. Does everyone think it's anxiety, or is it because they started studying too late or not enough past papers? These are all different reasons. Absolutely correct. With some trainees, anxiety. How many of you remember at university when you went to an exam, you had a question that came up, you actually knew this stuff because you read it the night before, but for some reason, when you were in the exam hall, you forgot. It's only when you walked out the exam that, oh my God, even before anyone spoke to you, just, oh my God, the answer came to your head. This happens. And that's due to anxiety and being in a different state of mind. So yes, things like studying too late. Some people started a revision too late. Others didn't have enough practice questions. I've had many trainees that have failed the exam. They've come to me and I've always asked them, what did you do? What would you do differently? Why do you think you failed the exam? And that's why I always start with all trainees. and they say, oh, I failed the exam because Marvin, you know what? I didn't really practice any past papers. I didn't do any questions for the first sitting. I just went in and just did it. So I'm like, okay, all we have to do now is make sure you practice for the next time. So please don't blame yourself. Don't think that you're not good enough. Just remember that it's all about your technique. Is the technique that you're using. All of you have got master's degrees in pharmacies. You have what it takes to succeed. And if you didn't have what it took to succeed, your tutor wouldn't even put you forward for the exam. The very fact that you sat the exam, it takes all the boxes to show that you have the capability. That's what I just want to say to you. The very fact that you sat that exam, because they're not going to put you forward if you're not good enough. And you're not even going to go through university and get to this level. And you're not going to have all those competencies, all those outcomes signed off. And many of you know fully well that most of you, if you're working as a pharmacist, you will do a really good job, better than most pharmacists. So an exam should never define you. You are greater than an exam. This is just a result, but deep down, you have so much in you and you have so much to give. Right. So do you provide like a specific course for retake? Yes, I've got a specific course for students retaking the exam. I've got a specific course for students retaking the exam, which will start in February. I feel like I didn't have time to prepare. Yes, time is very important. And I always tell people time is of the essence. I've got 6 reasons. I tell people there's 6 reasons why trainees fail. One of those reasons is time. How can I reduce exam anxiety? I just failed my second attempt, and I know a lot of it is confidence. Just like anything, if I came up to you, Aisha, and I said to you, Aisha, I want you to answer this question for me, please. Aisha, if I said to you, I want you to stand up and do a presentation right now on a topic in front of 50 people. I want you to do a presentation right now on a topic. Are you going to be nervous? I just want you to do a presentation on this topic. But right now, you don't have time. You just have to do it right now. Are you going to be nervous to do that? Yes or no? Now, what if I told you, I need you to do this presentation, but you're going to do that in 3 months' time. And here's the topic. Just prepare for it. You can practice. You have enough time to practice. What's going to happen? Now you're going to do it, but this time you'll be more confident. Why? Because you've had more time and you've had more practice. So anxiety is just a message saying to you, you need to be prepared. The more prepared you are, the less anxiety you're going to have. And a level of anxiety is needed for every single thing. It helps you. The problem is when anxiety disables you. So everyone needs to have a certain level of anxiety. It is good for you. But the problem, the place when it starts to disable you, it's when you've not prepared enough. It's just your body's mechanism of telling you, you need to prepare more. Because the better you prepare, the less anxious you're going to be. And it's not just preparing, but it's also having the right people around you to instill that confidence in you. Okay, failed twice. I've got Marvin. If you don't mind, please could you share the statistics of Preregshortcuts course members who passed in November sitting? Did most people pass, or was it lower this time? Loads of people passed in the course. So what we do is we're only going to get the statistics probably in the next week, because normally Preregshortcuts, when the results come out, we give students 2 weeks to let us know the results. That's when we either do a refund or we give you an extension. So right now we're in the process where students are still letting us know the results. So that normally takes a week or 2. So by this time next week, when we reach the cutoff, I will know for sure how many students ask for refunds, how many students ask for extensions. Then we can tell how many have passed or failed. So that's how we work out our percentages. So in the summer we had 95%, and I'm assuming we'll have the same moving towards this time as well. But the same this time next week, I will definitely have this answer, because we have to give students enough time to inform us of their performance. Okay, let's get in. Let's go on. I'm going to show you guys so much stuff. I got answers to all your questions. Okay, great stuff. Let's look at slide number 5. So mindset. Why am I talking about the mindset? Because something is going to happen to you guys. It's not just about doing questions. If you fail the exam, you need to practice, but something happens to your mind. Yes or no? Guys, tell me. Something happens to your self-belief and something happens to your self-confidence when you fail the exam once or twice. Your brain starts to tell you, oh, you might fail again. What about the stigma? So the first step is we need to overcome that stigma of failure. Right? This exam doesn't define your worth or your potential. An exam should never define you. So the first thing you need to get into your head is you are not a failure, and don't have that stigma on you. I have failed the exam. Oh my gosh, this is it. I'm not good. I don't know. That's it, because this is what defines me. If I either pass or I fail, or I just don't exist, I'm not important. No, there's far more in you, far more stuff going on in your life, far more potential than an exam. Okay, this is just the exam, and take away the stigma. You are not a failure. You have gone to university, 4 years, you have a master's degree in pharmacy. Very few people can achieve a master's degree in pharmacy. You're highly respected, and there are so many job opportunities out there that even if you were to go out now and apply for work, just having a master's in pharmacy on its own puts you far above most other applicants. Right? So let this not define you. So there are 3 practical ways that you could build your mindset. You guys want to see the 3 practical ways? Type of 3. I'm going to give you 3 ways you could first start building that shift, building that confidence in yourself again. And these are the 3 ways. Number 1, you want to write down your thoughts, and you want to write down your progress every single time to motivate you. And that's why I asked you guys, what do you think went well in the exam? And many of you started to say some positive things. Marvin, I failed the exam just by 1 mark. I passed calculations. Marvin, did you know in calculations I had 35 out of 40 in calculations? Oh, Marvin, did you know that I just ran out of time? So, guys, the first thing you want to do is write down the progress you're making. Write everything down. The fact that you're here right now, I have utmost respect for you. Like, I cannot tell you how much respect I have for you for turning up here tonight. I'm not only turning up, but even putting comments down. You see, some people may be too shy. Oh, I don't want to put my name down. I don't want to put in a comment because, you know, people might see and go, oh, I feel, and I don't want people to know. Well, that's still the stigma. You still have that stigma of I'm not good enough. What you want to do is step up. You are worth it. It doesn't matter. Ask the questions. Get on there. This doesn't define you. Be bigger than this exam. Be bigger than this situation. Stand up high. Put your chin up. You are better than this. It doesn't matter what's happened. All that matters in life for you is what you do now and what you do in the future. You are a success because this is not what defines you. Next thing is gratitude. So, guys, I want you guys to type in the comments. I want you to type in the comments gratitude. Just write down. Just type in some things that you're grateful for. Just type in some things that you could really grateful about right now. Right, for me, I remember when I failed my OSCEs, because I did the OSCE twice. I failed twice and I passed it at the 3rd attempt. I had to really go back and start thinking, I've got my health. I've got good health. I've got family that loves me. I've got mom and dad that are there for me, my brothers, my siblings. I still have a chance. I failed the exam once, but hey, guess what? I still have a second chance. Or I still have a third chance. And I'm thankful for this. Right? I can still eat. I can still walk. I can still do those things I wanted to do. I've got all this love around me. And I've got a master's degree, which means that whatever happens to me, even if I don't become a pharmacist, I will still be very successful. Because whatever I do, I will do it well. So just write down the things that you could be really grateful for. Do you need to get resigned off if you want to sit for your 3rd attempt? I'm not too sure. I have to check. I think perhaps of the gap between November and June, I think you do have to do like a short placement with that time compared to if it was just June to November. But I have to find out. That's all on the GPhC website. Grateful, let's say we're grateful for. Grateful for the chance that I'm in pre-reg after 6 long years of university, having to change unis and start over again. Great, Riyadh. Really proud of you. Really proud of you, Riyadh. I have so many success stories of trainees that I had one guy that was going to commit suicide, and this is true. This was 2 years ago. He was literally going to commit suicide because when he'd failed the exam twice and his culture and everything, his family background, they made him feel so small. They made him feel so bad. He was going to commit suicide. And he's not the only one. The many other trainees that are going through this sort of mental where they've thought about these things, but they keep in themselves. But he at least was able to open up to me. And the reason why at the end he changed, he said to me, Marvin, do you know what helped me? Because every time I used to come to your sessions in the evening after work, you were not just teaching, you were constantly going on about motivation, about there is more to life, about what are you happy about. And then I started to appreciate things. And guess what happened? And he passed. I passed. But when you start look at other things, then you'll be able to, and you have the mindset to be able to tackle the next step. When you're above this whole failure thing, and you're above this mindset, and you've really energized your mindset where you're really positive now, it has happened to you. You've acknowledged it. You're not fighting it. Yes, I did not pass. But now you're a better person and a stronger person because you know that you're going to use this to then get you stronger and move forward. I'm grateful for the fact that I haven't given up for this exam and I'm willing to fight and pass it the next time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because what do they say about winners? Winners are not people that don't fall or don't fail. They're just those that never quit. You're a loser or you failed when you quit. As long as you're still getting up and you're still putting that work in and you're still ready for the next attempt, you are a success. That's how you should define yourself. Family, definitely family. Support network like yourself, Marvin. Great, thank you. Family. So you have so much to be grateful for, right? And you'll be amazed by how many people out there love you. Your family loves you. The people that are hurting because they know what you're going through, right? So never suffer in silence. Like hang around those people that are always there for you. So the last one is your support network. Reach out to the people that care for you. Reach out to those people that can motivate you. By coming here right now is the right thing to do because I'm here to motivate you. I'm here to make you believe in your worth. I'm here to remind you of how great you are. And I'm here to remind you that many people, many pharmacists that you see walking around you right now, coming to your pharmacy, working, many of them failed exams. But the difference is they never gave up. They just never gave up. They picked themselves up and they went again. So next thing, your study plan. This is a big one. So this will be different for every single person. There's this famous say that someone who keeps doing the same thing, expecting different results, is a fool. Right? The only way all of you want to produce a new result, all of you want to produce a new result. In order to produce a new result, you need to take new action. There is something different. So that's how I help trainees pass. Every time they come to me once they've failed, the first thing I say to them, I don't go around saying, oh yeah, you need to do these questions and this. I just say to them, tell me exactly what you were doing, what you've been doing all this time to prepare for your exam. And all we have to do is make sure you do something new, something different. You need to take new action. That could be just enrolling in a new course that has better content. That could be studying with a friend or with a group of friends. That could be just doing more questions than you've done before. Maybe before your exam, you only did about 500 questions, and this time you're doing 1,000 questions. That could just be starting your revision a bit earlier. But there's got to be something. You've got to do something new. And when I see a trainee that is taking new action, I know you are on the right track. Because all of a sudden, you're doing more mock papers than you did before. You're practicing more quizzes than you did before. So you're progressing. Okay, so the question to you is, what were you doing or what have you been doing all this time to get to this exam? And what can you do differently? And what will you do differently? Because it's that difference that will produce a different outcome for yourself, which will be success. So you need to analyze your past performance. Use that feedback. What are your weak areas? What do you struggle with the most? Is it calculations? Is it the clinical stuff? Where are you struggling? Is it SPCs? So how many SPCs are you going to do this time? If you did maybe 50 last time, you have to do more SPCs this time. Did you run out of time? So if you run out of time, now you need to practice every single question under time conditions. As you're practicing, you're timing yourself, so you don't run out of time the actual exam. What training program were you with? Maybe you did not join any course at all. Maybe try to do this by yourself. Still do the private sessions. I got so many people in private sessions. Yes. So the key for you now is to just write down and just think, what are you going to do differently? Because different actions produce different results. I can sympathize with him, as the pressure can be a lot. Along with the pressure we put on ourselves, it can be very overwhelming, and we need to change that energy into something positive. Absolutely. And I know with our cultures, I'm African, and I know as well it's similar with Asians as well, because there's so much pressure from family, so much pressure. Everyone's looking at you. You have to pass, and if you don't pass, you're a failure. If you don't become a doctor, or you don't become a pharmacist, or we know these pressures, but you need to take action about it. You need to do something about it. Marvin, can we still do a private session along with the course to better prepare for the June? Yes. We can. The private course is starting in February. Many students are going to join. Yes, private course is very, very good. Marvin, see your private course. Will it just be going through the flashcards, or will it be other stuff? I'll talk about that if you want later. Yes, it's going through a few things, not just flashcards. Flashcards are just part of your success. There are quizzes, there are GPhC questions, there's motivation, there's so much that we're going through. So next thing is to set yourself a study plan, because failing to plan is planning to fail. Again, one of the key reasons students fail is because they don't plan. And that's when you talk about people running out of time or starting revision too late. So someone's asking me about the private. One thing I do on the private is I give you a plan. We always work by plans with deadlines. So your plan, you need to have a plan. If you're sitting an exam in June, you need to have a plan with all the different things that you need to cover, from calculations of topics, clinical topics, MEP topics, OTC topics. You need to have an outline, and I'm going to show you what this looks like a checklist on all the topics that you need to cover. And then once you see all those topics, you need to assign them deadlines. So for instance, the BNF has 16 chapters. So you could either assign it weekly and go like, I'm gonna do a chapter a week. That means you've got 16 weeks. Take 16 weeks, that's about 4 months. So those of you thinking of doing the exam in June, you see where you're going to be. Maybe you're going to be done reading and preparing by April, May. So you definitely need to have a very detailed plan. You need to focus on those areas that you need to improve the most. You definitely need to track your progress. So again, on the private, I test you, I track your progress, I see how you're performing each time to make sure you're getting better. Because the only way you can know you're improving is by tracking. So you have to track everything. Your goals have to be achievable, daily goals and weekly goals. And that's different for everyone. Right? Some of you may not be working at all. So perhaps you can do 3 hours or 4 hours a day of revision. Some of you may still be working, which means perhaps you can only do 2 hours. And then some of you may be working, but then you travel 3 hours to go and 3 hours back. So you can only do 30 minutes a day. So it doesn't really matter what you can do. What's the most important thing is to be consistent. Consistency is the key. If all you could spare is 30 minutes a day, it is fine. But you have to be consistent with that 30 minutes. If you go 1 hour, you have to be consistent. The key is consistency. And one of the best ways to be consistent is to have a plan that is achievable, something that is measurable, something that you could get feedback from. That keeps you going, that keeps you motivated, and that's going to get you to the end, which is your final destination, which is succeeding in the pre-reg exam. Target mainly your high and your medium weighting areas, right? Target mainly high and medium weighting areas. And the most importantly, your time. So you got deadlines so that you can measure and you can see how you're progressing. Very, very important. These are things I could all do for you. You know, we could design this, we could look at your plan, we could sort all of that out for you. So next thing, someone's asking about the privates. One thing that I recommend a lot is that it's using active learning techniques. By active learning, I'm talking about things that are easy to remember for you, an easy way to learn. So things like flashcards, the easy. So I have my flashcards. I can show you guys what they look like. Loads are so easy to use. They're so good. They're good for memory. They're good for recall. They're engaging. They're motivating. So if you're someone that didn't use flashcards the first time or the second time while you're doing exam, a change that you could make is actually use flashcards this time, right? So you have to make a change to get a new result. There's something you have to change that you've not changed yet that you have to change. Using flashcards, mocks, doing mocks. Once you're ready, once you've done some reading, prepare mocks. So perhaps in your first and 2 attempts, you only did 9 mocks. This time you want to do 15. Okay, so it's all about looking at what you did previously and then changing it. Join study groups if you can. A group could just be one person, by the way. It doesn't have to be 100, but work with somebody. Use active recall, quizzes, quiz yourself, test yourself. So my private sessions, I do a process, a formula that I call TRT. Everybody knows this because I promote this more than anybody else in the world. It's called TRT, or I call it TRTR. But all it means is you quiz yourself. If you're going to learn any subject, the first thing you need to do is quiz yourself. If I'm going to learn something on statins, the first step is to quiz. So do some questions on statins before you even read the topic. It's just to freshen your mind and see how much you remember. What is a statin? What is a high intensity statin? What are statins used for? What is the MHRA warning on statins? What needs to be monitored on statins? How often do you need to monitor them? These are the sort of things. And then that's just to refresh your mind. It's like a warm-up, a mental warm-up. And then once you've done that, you move to the next step, which is now reading the notes. So it's now actually reading about statins. Some of you are going to go into your BNF. Some of you are going to use your notes. For me, I use active recall notes. All my notes are in active recall. So that's what my trainees and my private get. So they get all my quizzes, which I can show you guys, and then they get all my active recall notes. And then the final T is test, but this time with GPhC style questions. So if you do TRT, you're in a very good place. It is the key to succeed, is a key to learning, and is a key to retaining information. You do a quiz first, you do your reading using active recall notes, and then the last thing is you practice GPhC style questions. When you get to around April, May, that's when you start doing full mocks under exam conditions. And if you take these steps, I promise you 100%, you walk into that exam, you totally ace the exam. Okay, are they going to change the questions as foundation trainers here for June? They may change them slightly, but we'll see about that. It won't be a lot. They might change. They might introduce some concepts of independent prescribing, maybe, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. If there's going to be any significant change, the GPhC definitely lets us know. So it's not something that's just going to make a crazy change and not tell anyone and shock all of you. If there's going to be any significant changes, you're going to know in advance. But the only thing that might do is there might be some introduction to aspects of prescribing in the questions, perhaps. Obviously, of course, we'll just be going through okay, I've answered that. Yes, so it's not just going through the flashcards. It's more than that, a lot more than that. Okay, stress management is a big one. How many of you feel stressed right now? So don't forget to manage your stress, right? So you need to take some breaks. I tell all trainees, yesterday I had so many messages from trainees when the results came out. And the first thing I advise all trainees, I'm like, take time off. Just enjoy with your family. Spend December with your family, Christmas, all the way into New Year. Forget about revising. Forget about what the plan is going to be, what you have to do. All you have to just take time out. Take time out because you work so hard and you've received a very, very distressing news. Just like anything, when you get some bad news, you just need to take some time out and let it sink. Go through the emotions and then come back stronger. So to me, my advice to you will be don't even think about revising now. Don't even think about, just enjoy time with your family and loved ones this Christmas and New Year. After New Year, from the 3rd of January or 2nd, we would then start getting back into revision. Take time out for yourself. Maintain a healthy routine, eat healthily, spend time, give them the love. They love you, give them back the love. All right. There's more to life than just the exam, and that's going to help you as well. Resources is a big one. So what resources and tools you use? You guys know, I don't even need to stress this. When you're at university, some of you had the go-to textbook. You had a certain textbook that you use for maybe pharmacology. And the reason why you use this specific textbook compared to the others is because this textbook seemed to explain things a lot better to you. You understood a lot better, and as a result, you did well in your exams. But when you go back to the source, it was because you had a very good resource. The same thing applies to the GPhC exam. The quality of your notes that you have, whatever course you're getting it from, or whether just the BNF or notes that you've made, the quality of your notes will determine the quality of your results. So many people pass exam with Preregshortcuts and talk about even the clinical notes, right? So the quality of your notes, BNF, MEP, OTC, CARCs, will determine the quality of your result. They'll also determine how well you understand information, how well you apply information, how much you enjoy it, how motivated you are, how driven you are. It all comes down to the quality of your notes. So notes are a very, very big part of your success. So using apps, online tools, there are so many guides, textbooks, training programs out there. You have so much out there. But whatever happens, make sure you choose the ones that you understand better, that make you want to study more, that make you feel alive. You need to have those sort of courses, those sort of notes. The nice, the colorful, they have memory tricks to help you with your memory. They've got questions in there. They direct you to where GPhC questions get tested. Those sort of notes highlight so many things and have summaries. They have tables. They have diagrams. These are the best notes because that's how the human brain works. It works better with all of these sort of simulations. So you need to have that compared to just black and white pages. Okay, so another thing is consider finding a mentor or joining a study group. I know many of you have been asking me about the private. I've been doing private for many years. The thing about the private is exactly what it is. It's a mentor, that's myself, and the private group is joining a group of other trainees and working together. So you need that. Never do this on your own. Right, so let me show you some stories, some success stories, just to encourage you that for the 10 years I've been doing this, I have seen so many trainees, guys. I can't even tell you the number of trainees every single year. I've been doing this for 10 years. Twice a year, we've got exams. So I always have trainees that come up to me, and at the end, when they get the exams, they go, Marvin, I have failed. What happens next? And I've seen so many that are in your situation. And so even though I empathize with you, I also have the belief that you're going to pass because I've seen it happen so many times. So we've got Lisa. Lisa is actually, she is now Preregshortcuts. She helps us a lot with a lot of the admin stuff. Lisa failed this exam twice. In her exam, she was getting 10 out of 14 calculations. 7 long years. Lisa went through the same thing. I remember when she was failing the exam, she would call me, she was crying, and then she got into private and we worked together and she passed. She didn't only pass, but she passed outstandingly. Outstanding. She had 31 out of 14 of calculations. This was someone that used to have 10 out of 40 and was giving up. And that's Lisa. You can hear her story. I've got a session tomorrow, by the way. I'm doing a session tomorrow. It's on dilutions. It's a free session. So if any of you wanted to join for dilutions, and Lisa will be there as well. She'll share her story. Payal was probably one of my most inspirational trainees I've worked with. And I have a whole video. I encourage you guys. Let me see if I can get the video actually, because this will be really, 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 really good for all of you. This is probably the most, not probably, it is the most inspiring session I've ever had with a trainee. Just 1 second. Let me see if I can get that up, and then I could give you guys the link. Let's see. I'll definitely, yeah, it's some Preregshortcuts because we've got so many videos. We have over 200 and something videos. But I'm going to look for the one for Payal. I'm going to share that with you guys. But if you can watch, especially now, this is the best time to watch the video with Payal. It was an interview, and I went through, and she's talking about all the tricks, what happened, how she revised, how she passed the fourth time, what she did differently. And yeah, and she's probably one of the most inspiring people right now. So Payal, the same thing. Joined the private course, helped her. She passed the exam, but she failed 3 times. We've got June. June is so interesting. June failed the exam 3 times as well. She passed on her last attempt, which was her 4th time. So it was like I was really doubting myself. Some of you failed the exam once. Some of you have failed twice. But I have people that have failed 3 times. Imagine the pressure. And then they had to put in an appeal and everything to get the 4th attempt. And luckily for them, they did get the 4th attempt. So June actually failed 3 times. But can you believe in her 4th attempt, she joined the private course. She actually had 100% in calculations. She moved from failing this exam 3 times to scoring 100% in calculations. And all of you can do that. Whether it's whatever subject you're failing, you could be outstanding. Just like I showed you, Lisa, she's having 10 out of 40 in her final exam. She ended up having 31 out of 40. It's all about getting that feedback, working on it, taking the action, and you produce the result because you have what it takes to succeed. Believe me, all of you do. It's just about your strategy. This was very interesting. I got this today. So this is a trainee that has just done this. This specific guy had failed his exam twice. And he kept coming to me. I even had a conversation with him in the pharmacy show, CPC in London earlier this year. And he was going through a lot of hard times, difficult times, even with his family, a lot of family challenges as well. And he was so demotivated. I'll tell you, I was encouraging him, but I was doubting myself. Although I knew 100% this guy's got the potential, but from his body language, I wasn't even sure he was going to pass. I just felt like perhaps he might not do it. But he did. He sent me this message today. He says, "Hi, Marvin. Hope you're well. I started the November exam. Results were released on the 17th of December. Good news." That made me jump off my seat because when I saw it, I thought, oh my gosh. And I was like, wow, you passed it. I finally passed. Your private course assisted me. Now, here's what I'm talking about with the clinical exam. I was scoring in the 70s for clinical. And after doing the course, I scored 94. That's literally that. And that was someone that if I could get him on to speak to you guys, and if people like this can do it, I promise you, you can do it too. But it's normal to feel the way you do right now because they all felt the same way like you. It's completely normal. But the difference between them is after they went through the emotions, they then picked themselves up, got ready, and then went for it. And that's why I say to you, take time off. Don't study now. Don't do anything now. Just relax, take time off, go through the emotions in December, go to the new year. And then once you're ready, let's go. So, person, this was my 3rd sitting at the exam. The last 2 attempts, I didn't have a training provider. Therefore, I needed to pass. I bought the Preregshortcuts course and it didn't disappoint. And this is someone else passed the exam in the final attempt. Another person, 3rd time lucky. I've used several different revision providers, but Preregshortcuts by far the most comprehensive, thorough, whilst being able to provide information, bite size, and all of that. So we have all of these. And this is just probably about 6. And I have on our Trustpilot right now, we have almost 300 reviews on this. So it's a lot more. But what I was just trying to show you is that there are so many people that have gone through what you're going through. It is more common than you think, people failing the exam at least once or twice. It is a lot more common. Loads of people fail the exams. They pass on the 2nd attempt. They pass on the 3rd attempt. I literally have 2 videos on YouTube. I have another girl called Casey that passed the 2nd time. Very good story and good video to watch as well. And she goes through everything what she did. Right, so what I want you guys to do is I want you to make a commitment today to yourself. Start small. Don't start small. Set yourself a small goal. And that goal could just be, if you fail calculations, for example, my goal will be to do more calculations than I did the last time or the last 2 times. I want to practice more questions than I did before. Or your goal could just be, I'm going to join a certain course or someone that I maybe was hesitant, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and join this group, and I'm going to join this course. or it could just be, I'm going to go out there today and I'm going to post something on Telegram asking for a study partner. I didn't work with anyone before, but now I'm going to go to a Telegram group and I'm going to go, hey, my name is Riyadh. Is there anyone that's interested in studying together? Let's do it together. So you've got to do something you've not done before. So I'm going to put down, some people asking me what the free dilution session is. I'm going to send you guys links. I'm going to send you some links now. So with the private session, let me put this. I'm going to send you guys a few links. You can see. So I'll put the links now, and you can. So with Preregshortcuts as well, those of you that want Preregshortcuts offers quite a range of revision and study resources. So perhaps you just wanted a question bank, for instance. If your goal now was to say, okay, Marvin, I didn't practice enough questions. For my next exam, my change is I will do more questions. Perhaps you could just get the Preregshortcuts question bank, which has over 1,000 questions just on its own. You don't need to get a whole course. You could just get the question bank. Right? You're going to be paying like £25 a month, and you get a full question bank. This is the link. This is the private. So this is for students. It's like a course for those that have failed. I'm going to be doing this again. Not only those that failed, but this is a private course everyone's asking about. But that's the link for the private course. Anyone want to join the private course, and we can go through this. But it's worth looking at it and see what something that might interest you. On the Preregshortcuts website, in terms of resources, I'm going to give you guys a link, and you can book a Calendly call. If you feel like you just want to book a call to speak to someone, just to speak to someone about your experience, you just need some advice, you just need someone to talk to, then we can arrange that for you. Okay, we can arrange. All you have to do is go onto the Preregshortcuts website, and we have a chat group. Let me get a link here for you guys. You could go on the Preregshortcuts website, and you could just request to speak to someone, myself, you can speak to Umar, you can speak to a member of the team, but just remember that you're not on your own. Okay, there are also many other support groups there, like pharmacy support. Please don't suffer in silence. There's so many people out there that are willing to support you, but you just have to reach out to them, and they're going to help you. Most of these people I'm showing you the testimonials, most of them failed the exam, and what did they do? They reached out to me. They sent messages, Marvin, can you help? Marvin, I'm really in a situation right now. Some of them just wanted some advice. Just tell me, what should I do? How should I study differently? I just want to have a conversation. So this is something that if you wanted some Preregshortcuts, you can book a call. You could book a Calendly call, and then you're going to get a call back, and we could discuss some of these things with you. Okay. So tomorrow I'm doing a free session, and it's on dilutions. Tomorrow I'm doing a free session. It's open to all of you if you're interested. It's on complex dilutions and also the cardiovascular system active recall. Right? Complex dilutions and active recall. So this is going to be tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So if you're free and you want to start maybe revising, but although I'm saying don't revise now, I'm saying, hey, don't revise now, guys, take time off. But I have a session tomorrow. Let me get the link, and I'll post the link in the chat. And you could just register as a webinar. It's a webinar, and the webinar would just be, it's just there to help. It's just there to help you. If you're struggling, then it is definitely worth 100% attending that tomorrow. Let me just get the link, and I'll give it. It's a Zoom link. And what we're going to do is the first part of the session, we're going to go to complex dilutions. And then the second part, so the first part is just complex dilutions. And in the second part, I will do active recall with the cardiovascular system. So we're going to start covering the cardiovascular system. And then I'm going to be showing you how to use active recall to help you with your memory. Okay? So it really helps for any of you that did not pass the exam and you want to find a new way of studying that can help you. So I'm going to post on here. This is the link, and you guys could register. It's tomorrow It's tomorrow, a free webinar. That's the link. Join if you can. It's tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We're going to do complex dilutions, and we're going to be going through the cardiovascular system. So yeah, so you have everything on there for you. Someone's asking, can we join your course closer to time, or is it first come first? So the previous shortcuts course you can join anytime. With my private course, I can only have a maximum of 30. So it doesn't matter when I can only have a maximum of 30, simply because with the private it's very small. It's the personalization that makes it different. So it's not a big group, because we cannot have a big group, then it's not going to be as personal. So it's a small group. You have, so it's like a one-to-one, but it's a smaller group, right? So it's more personalized, it's more engaging. So I have to keep the group small. I have to keep the group small. So yes, now you could join the group at any time, as long as we've not reached 30 capacity. So there you go. But for this Zoom webinar, it's a free webinar tomorrow. Please make sure you join if you can. It's going to be so helpful. Oh, someone's put a little encouragement. Us met a guy that passed the exams on his 4th attempt after getting the help, and guess what? He is a senior pharmacist at the hospital and have all the clinical knowledge. Wow, amazing. There are so many people out there. There are so many. You'll be blown away. Most of the time, I think most of you look at people and go like, most of the pharmacists that you admire, you look at them, maybe chief pharmacists, great. You look at, oh, the pharmacist is so good. Oh, look at the position that they've attained. I promise you, you speak to most of them, they all have setbacks, right? They may not all fail the GPhC exam, but they'll tell you fail exams about university and different things. This is quite not common. But the only difference is not whether you fail, it's what you do with it. It's what you do. It's not what happens to you, it's the actions that you take and what you do about it. So if this happens and you're crying and you're saying to yourself, I'm not good enough, you're like, nobody, everybody's embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I don't even want to go out. I don't want to even type in anything down. I'm so embarrassed. I feel this is my life. I'm useless. God is punishing me. If you take that sort of action, then you're doing a very big disservice to yourself. But if you pick it all up and you go like, okay, this has happened, but there are so many people this happens to, it is common, but they've passed, they've picked themselves up, and I know that I can learn from my mistakes. I believe in myself. It is a setback, but it is only that. It is just a setback and nothing else. It doesn't define me. It's not the end of my life. It's not like I don't have any hope anymore. I've just had a setback. But I know that with the right support and by taking new action, I will turn this around. And I'm determined to do everything I can to succeed. That's the attitude you should have. I spoke to someone yesterday from the team, and it honestly helps so much. Thank you for all that. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks. Yeah, speak to us. We're always there to help. Right? We're always here to help. You guys want to go through a few things, book a call, book a Calendly call, and we'll be more than happy to chat to you. And Preregshortcuts, you have like training plans as well. You have revision checklists, things that can help you with your plan, with your program. So yes, so any questions before I disappear? So I'll just leave that up to you guys for any Q&A. Any questions before I disappear, and I'll let you guys off. I've taken up 1 hour of your time, but I'm really hoping I will see you guys tomorrow, at least at the webinar at 8 o'clock. And we can go through calculations. We can go through some of the clinical stuff. I will talk to you guys as well more about the private. If you guys wanted to know, I could talk about the private that I do. Okay. Sarah, thanks for your feedback. Okay, so any questions before I go? But I just want to thank all of you for turning up. Had quite a good number, about 40 of us on here. And this is the beginning, not the end. Okay, this is the beginning. Again, an exam shouldn't define you. I'm very proud of you. You should be proud of yourself because of how much you've achieved all these years. And you have a master's of pharmacy. You've had setbacks in your life, throughout your life. This is another one. Right? And we're here to help you. Please, you're not on your own. Please, I want to remind you about how good you are and how special you are. It is not about you. It's about your study method. And methods can change very easily if you find the right ones. I am offering you right methods to help you. I can get you to pass. I can help you succeed. The question is, are you willing and ready to do the work? Because if you are, then please reach out to me and let's turn this dream into reality. Have a lovely evening. It's been a pleasure. And I look forward to seeing all of you lovely people tomorrow, hopefully. Take care and well done. Once again, I'm proud of all of you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.